Hello, and welcome to the Social Small Talk podcast, where we explore the dynamic world of social media marketing across all industries. Join me, Audra Brim, twice a week for insightful conversations with top global industry professionals, along with the latest news and trends in social media marketing. Each episode is packed with valuable strategies and practical tips designed to help you enhance your social media presence, increase engagement, and boost your brand's digital impact. Make sure to subscribe so you can listen each week. Hello, and welcome to this week's edition of the Social Small Talk. I am Audra Brim, and I am so excited to be here because it has been a wild week. Right now, it's Sunday, January 12th, but you will be listening to this on Monday, January 13th. And I have a lot of news to get to. So either grab popcorn or your notepad, depending on how you feel about social media right now, and let's get into it. So, first and foremost, I'm going to start with Meta because last week felt like everyone was in a whirlwind and we can't even describe it. But the big updates is Meta is removing fact checkers and adopting a crowdsourced community note system. Very much like X right now, the whole point is that moderation rules are loosening to allow more politically debated speech and political content is returning to feeds. So this is very controversial because we had fact checkers making sure that there weren't hate speech or divisive comments or anything out there that was hurting what we are actually consuming on Facebook and on Instagram. The big thing here, like I said, because of the controversial changes, people are worried about hate speech, divisive comments previously banned also are now allowed, raising concerns about a lot of misinformation and user safety. There's a lot of speculation out there, and I'm not here to go one way or the other. I'm here just to give you exactly what's happening. Right now, what you will see on Meta is that we'll start seeing this play out, meaning you'll start seeing more political content out there, more content that you're like, wait, I don't think that's right. You can actually comment and state within this crowdsourced community note system that it might not be the most factual and give the actual facts. If you ever want to see something like this, you can go on X to see exactly how that is working. We can take screenshots and send it to you as well. If you ever have questions, feel free to reach out to us at Brim Media. We always have all of this going through. Like I said, I'm not here to go political by any means, but people are thinking the motivation, especially for Mark Zuckerberg, is to align with the incoming president, as these changes could benefit Meta through reduced tariffs, favorable regulations, and with the impending TikTok ban, this could really help Meta out. Historical context here, critics are arguing this shift contradicts Meta's past commitments to combating misinformation and promoting user safety. This is a huge shift in what we heard 4 years ago from what Mark Zuckerberg came out to say. So, what is this actually going to do for you and the user of Meta? Well, while private groups and messaging apps could spread unchecked misinformation, Meta's focus on AI-driven recommendations may limit the broader influence of divisive content, which could be good, could be bad. Depends also how you feel about AI getting involved even more. The thing right now that everybody here knows is Meta is prioritizing business growth over mitigating social harm, signaling a significant shift in its approach to content and moderation. So what we'll probably see in the next 4 years is a lot of things go back on what we heard 4 years ago. Whether you love Facebook and Instagram or you don't, we are going to see a lot of things change within this new president. And I think a big thing here is what does that mean for misinformation, or what does it just mean for freedom of speech in general? Talking about freedom of speech, let's just dive into TikTok, right? So last week, the Supreme Court heard the whole thing against why TikTok should not be banned, right? So they were hearing this whole thing for hours. Believe me, I listened to it all. I think many of us did. And a lot of people came out of it saying, oh, the Supreme Court is going to completely go with that it's going to be banned. I'm not sure if all the news outlets listened to the same hearing as I did, But I left the hearing actually a little bit more excited that it possibly won't be banned. Does that mean it won't be? No, it very well could be. But there's quite a lot happening behind the scenes that could help, could not help. Right now, obviously, as you know, TikTok will be banned in the United States on January 19th unless it's sold into US ownership due to the concerns relating to the app's links to the Chinese government. And in this capacity, to be used to both gather information and give propaganda on behalf of the Chinese to the US. So here's the thing. There were two different things happening during this whole entire trial. A lot of it had to do with the content creators talking about how this would prohibit their freedom of speech and all of these other things. And the judges in the beginning, to me, did not understand what TikTok really was. But by the end, especially even in the middle, they were making jokes. They were coming up with like, well, a cat video isn't propaganda and all of these other things. So there is hope. Does that mean that hope will 100% come in? No. A lot of people are speculating that Monday, January 13th, today, that they are going to come out and ban TikTok and upheld everything that's happened. And while that could absolutely happen, they do have until January 18th to actually give us what they are saying. So here is the deal. Right now, we still don't know. That does not mean later today that we will know either. We might. But right now, the whole point on TikTok is that everyone is trying to get people off of it. And there's a lot of clickbait happening. For brands, obviously, I'm speaking to you. This is important to make sure that you are doubling down on your content on other platforms. I've always said never to have your eggs in one basket, and this is why. It is very scary if one of your sales channels goes down and that it completely ruins your business. I know a lot of businesses out there and creators have put all their eggs in that basket. Is that a bad thing? No. TikTok has been different. And the reason why we all love it so much is because it was different, because it was a way to get out to an audience that no one ever saw before. I mean, me personally, the amount of things I have learned on there is actually kind of funny, not just business, but I use my Ninja Creme on, have way too many ingredients and all of that because of it. But regardless of what might happen, what I want you to look into 2025 with is an open mind of where else you can be prioritizing to make sure you're monetizing other places, whether that's a podcast or YouTube. Meta, there are so many other places out there. And yes, they might not be the same because we all know advertising, especially on Meta, is nowhere near like what you can even get from organic on TikTok. But let's just really plan and go into this year understanding we need to plan for the future. And if something was to stop, how can we pivot? Same thing with Meta. If Meta was to go away, if Instagram was to go away, what would you do right now? If you need help with that and strategizing, please do not hesitate to contact myself, Audra at brimmedia.com, or just go to www.brimmedia.com and put in your information and we will contact you. We are always here to help because it's important to make sure that you're looking towards the future. So let's completely segue and go a little bit more back to Meta and talk about Instagram, because Instagram just came out with a whole thing of what you can do to maximize reach on your posts. And while it's great, and I'm so excited they did it, I think these are things that we all kind of knew, but I want to make sure for you out there that you truly understand that. So number one, do not use watermarks. We've known this. If you are repurposing a TikTok video, get rid of that watermark. They're even sometimes not the best when you have your logo everywhere either, because they don't want to feel like it's so salesy. But the biggest thing is having content that you are repurposing from other places. So watermarks are not good. They will not help you. Engagement bait. This is something they are saying that is a very big thing to them, that they will not help you. They will basically not put your posts in any type of feed if you continuously do this. So engagement bait, what is that? It's focusing on increasing authentic engagement with your community. They are stating they will filter out or demote content if we determine a piece of content is engagement bait, meaning people have told us that they dislike posts on Instagram that mislead or direct them into interacting with likes, shares, comments, and other actions. They will reduce the visibility of content if they determine it to be engagement bait. So this is the example they gave. For instance, a form of engagement bait would be a post asking people to click the share button so they can find out which person the content is referencing. It is fine if you are giving your audience a reason to share your content or their content with a friend through genuine call to actions, but it cannot be a lure to people to get them into clicking to share the button because they want you to show something or they want that piece of it. So that is a no-go. Other thing, reels over 90 seconds. Honestly, I would tell you 60 seconds or less. They're saying 90 seconds or less. The most performing most performing reels we see out there is always 60 seconds or less right now. Non-recommendable content. This is really in regards to content creators or people in general, basically sharing and aligning themselves, drugs, alcohol, things in that regard that would not be recommendable content in general. And then always, they will not give you maximum reach on posts if you're posting content you did not make. So again, repost things in that regard. If you are to do that, make sure you're using the collaboration tool here. There are so many ways to go about utilizing other people's content in better ways. So make sure that you are not doing any of these, or else it is going to hinder how your Instagram for business performs in general. All right, that is it. That was a whirlwind. I am so excited that we are back. If you have any questions, make sure to leave your comments on any of our social platforms. This will be out. As usual, make sure to subscribe, and I can't wait to talk to you later this week.